First, happy birthday to Jimm and Sandy. This is fantastic. This is my first event on your birthday. We met, about 6 months ago. We had lunch together, and it was a real pleasure. And I could tell right away that we were kindred spirits. You know, you discovered a passion for lifting weights and running later in life, and that's great. Anytime you can find a passion later in life when people don't expect you to, I think it's a wonderful thing, and it's my goal to keep finding passions in my life. You know, I have done some good things in my life that I'm proud of, but one of the things that I define myself with is not the accomplishments, but the attitude and effort that I've brought to the things that I've been passionate about. And you know, you lifted 100 pounds, and that's fantastic, but it's really not about the weight so much as the attitude and the effort. I mean, you're somebody who clearly doesn't care if you fail, and that's a wonderful thing. You go for it, and I'm sure sometimes you come up short, but it doesn't seem to deter you, and that's an amazing quality. It's something that I admire in people. I won, in no particular order, I won a bronze medal in the 2002 Winter Olympics in the sport of bobsled. That's the medal over there, and when this is over, anybody want to check it out, pick it up, put it on, whatever, it's meant to be shared. Help yourself. In 1999, I won a silver medal in the Pan Am Games in the sport of track and field, in the decathlon. In 1992, I was the NCAA champion in the 400 hurdles. In 2009, I was the NCAA Coach of the Year when I was at the University of Oregon. And in 2006, at the age of 37, I finally became a husband, and shortly thereafter, a father. So those are things I feel good about. Some more than others, but really, on the balance, none of those things should have happened. In grade school, was dominant. I rocked recess. I was and I've got an identical twin brother named Darren, and we're the youngest of 5 kids in our family, 3 sisters, and then us. And possibly it's being an identical twin, but we did everything together. We were very competitive with each other. You can imagine, you lose as often as you win when you're an identical twin, because you're dealing with somebody who's just like you. And we just were very competitive, and we always had fun. And the losing part, nobody likes to lose, but we weren't afraid of it, you know. And I think those things stayed with me. Well, moving on into junior high and high school, things went south. We were both very late bloomers. Puberty just wouldn't come, and next thing you know, I'm a 5'4" freshman in high school, 120 pounds, with a big mouth. Those things were not good. Suddenly I was getting bullied, and it was a rough time. And it was rough pretty much through junior year high school. Finally, things started turning around. Senior year, things came together, and I had a very good senior year of high school. But the fact that I even stayed with it in sports after getting just drummed into the ground year after year, that resilience thing was with me then, and it allowed me to do the things I did as a senior in high school. So I went to college on a partial scholarship, and the freshman year was rough. Really rough. I went to Eastern Illinois, and I really wasn't prepared for college. I wasn't at the level that those other kids were, and I mean, I wasn't shaving yet, hair on my legs. I was a good high school kid, but those guys were animals. And I remember going into hard workouts. There was actually a moment in the fall where the workouts would get harder and harder, and I was a quarter miler at the time, training indoors, and I just didn't think I could keep up. I was killing myself. And I saw the workout that was scheduled that day, and I just was like, there's just no way. I don't even know if I can get through half of this workout. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to finish this workout. And I was really struggling with this, and so I just made up my mind, I'm going to stay with the leaders until I literally drop to my legs, just give out. I'm going to stay with the leaders, and if I can get past the halfway point, it won't be quite as humiliating to my teammates. But I wasn't going to run slower, so I did that. I made up my mind. There's no way I finished, but whatever. I stayed with it until I dropped. Well, that took all the thinking out of it. It really took the anxiety out of it because it turned into a physical thing. And so I stayed with the leaders, rep after rep after rep, and guess what? I didn't drop, and I stayed with them the whole way. And that was a defining moment for me because I realized the body is much stronger than the mind, and that stayed with me for the rest of my career. Even now, I'll use that. Just do it till you drop, and you're probably gonna be surprised. So I had a rough freshman year. The rest of the year didn't go much better than the fall, but I caught up to everybody, and by my senior year, in a photo finish, I outleaned a kid from UCLA by 1/100 of a second to win an NCAA title, and the first and only one at Eastern's ever had. And so really finished on a high note, but it certainly didn't start early, okay? Now, I wanted to keep going with sports, so I moved out to Eugene, Oregon, where I trained. And it was very clear, I wanted to make an Olympic team. Very clear I wasn't good enough. I stayed with it for 2 years, it just wasn't happening. So I didn't want to give up, so I switched to the decathlon. Now, I'm 25 years old, everybody thought I was crazy, time to hang it up and I'm taking on a new event, but I didn't want to quit. So I was like, I just want to see how good I can be. And so I did it, and it turned out that I was a much better decathlete than a 400 hurdler. That year in '95, I finished 5th at the U.S. Championships in the second decathlon of my life. And a year out from the Olympics, I thought I had a good shot, top 3 go. Didn't happen for me. I had some injuries in '96, and actually was recruited to do the sport of bobsledding at that time. So I was reluctant because I was a track athlete, and this winter sports was something I was interested in, but really the idea of being in them seemed kind of crazy. Well, I went for it. I made the team against all odds. My rookie driver, we made the Olympic team, but we weren't very good. There's 3 teams. We were good, but it's a weird sport. You got to know the tracks. We make the Olympic team, and the next day we're off to Europe. We go to Eagles, Austria, and it's a brand new track, and we're probably gonna crash. Okay? We're probably gonna crash. The rule is you get 2 days to practice before the World Cup competition, and we had to do this competition to go to the Olympics, and so you have to get 3 of 4 clean runs, which means you can't crash more than once, or you can't compete. So our very first run, we crashed, and it might look like a roller coaster when you see bobsledding on TV. It is not a roller coaster. It is the scariest thing. The scariest moment of my life was in that bobsled crash. It went over, and you suddenly have about 600 pounds pressing you into the ice over 80 miles an hour. Very scary. There's a technique where you take your head and actually lift your body up off the ice and use your helmet as a rudder, and but your neck will get tired because you're over for 30 to 40 seconds. And you just know that you're going to die. It's loud, it's crazy, it's scary, you're still going down the ice, there's nothing to stop you. It's not like a car crash where you'll skid to a stop. You just keep going. So we do this, we come to a stop, and I don't die. But I certainly thought I was going to. So we come to a stop, they grab us, we get out, I'm all shaken up. It's a very macho sport, you can't show fear, so pop it right up off the ice and walk around thinking, oh geez, okay. Well then it hits me, we've got to go right back to the top and do this again, or we can't compete. And that's when things really got scary, because the last thing I would do is go down again. And it was trying to figure out how do I get out of this. And there was just no way to do it with any dignity. And so I'm trying to work my head, how do I do this? How do I do this? And this is the honest God truth. I finally came to a place where I was like, okay, I have to find peace with dying on this next run, or I simply can't do it. And so that I went to that place. I just started thinking through my life. Okay, it's been good. This is a great way to go out. This is a great way to die. You always want to go out in a very dramatic way. They'll write books about this. Okay, and so I did. I was like, okay, I'm gonna die. Let's do this thing. And so me and my partner, you know what you did wrong? Yeah. You know how to fix it? Yeah. Okay, let's do it. So anyway, we humped it off again and didn't crash. Came close. Didn't crash. Made it to the bottom, and that was another defining moment for me where, you know, it's like, mentally you can go to a lot of places, but probably you're not going to die. Probably the worst case scenario is not going to happen. And for me, clearly, we didn't die. We made it and went on to go to the Olympics, and everything was fine. But that did something positive for me as a person and as an athlete, that I could take myself to such an extreme place and still perform. Okay, so fast forward. I go back to track and field, and in 1999, that was my big year in athletics. Now, I'm getting older now. I'm about 30, I'm 30 years old in 99, and I have a very good year. I got second place at the Pan Am Games to win the silver medal. I got 8th place at the World Championships. I was third in the U.S. that year. And, all things looked like I was going to make the next Olympic team in 2000, and that was the plan. And what happened was I overtrained, and I got greedy, and so I overtrained. And now, as a coach, I understand that. As an athlete, you know, not so much. So I wasn't successful in 2000. Retired from athletics. My teammates talked me into coming back for 2002. Now I'm 33 years old, and I mean, past my prime, but I'm older, I'm smarter, I train smarter, and against all odds, we end up winning a medal in the sport of bobsled, dramatic fashion, final run. We hadn't won a medal since 46 years, and so it was trippy. I mean, for a track that won a bobsled medal, it was amazing. So I started my coaching career. Now I'm getting on. At this point, my parents had really lowered their expectations for what I was going to do with my life. You know, my dad was middle management at AT&T. He just didn't understand why I didn't want to just start my career. You know. But there was just something in me where I wasn't ready. So I actually started a career at the Home Depot, the corporate office. I was a Home Depot athlete. Me and the CEO hit it off. They put together a great package for me, and I did that for about a year when I realized that, you know what, I want to coach, and I don't care if I'm poor. I gave up a wonderful salary to start as a very low-paid coach. When I had an opportunity, I took it. And I didn't ask what they're going to pay me. I was just so excited to have a job in the sport of track and field. And so that's where I started my career at the University of Oregon. And I was passionate about it. That was right. That was the right call. I made my decision. And that's when, you know, I went on to do some pretty exciting things in that. Now, in 2006, I'm 37 years old. My twin brother's got 3 kids by now. He's been married for years and years, and I'm just a single guy out there doing it, being a coach, and I just figured that those things are just not going to happen for me. And I wasn't obsessing about it. It was just the way life was for me, and I had a good life, and it was going to continue to be good. I was just a really, really great uncle to all my nieces and nephews, and I was okay with that. And then I met Dusty, and next thing you know, we've got 3 kids, and almost overnight, and my life is just so much better than I ever imagined it to be. Pretty late in life to get all those things, but for me, it was great. Okay, so 2009, National Coach of the Year, we won a national NCAA championship at Oregon, and things are great. I'm earmarked to be the next head coach at the University of Oregon, and make a ton of money and do all kinds of great things. And, but that wasn't what it was about for me. I was from the Midwest and from the Quad Cities originally. My parents are still there. I've got family in the Midwest, and we talked about it. And pretty much walked away from a guaranteed, great, lucrative future to go on to really something better, which was a great life in the Midwest with family around and a great life for our kids. So when the opportunity came up, I took the job at the University of Northern Iowa, and she's from Oregon, she's from Portland, but she became an Iowan very, very quickly. She tortured me for 6 months, but then she... so all these things happened very late in life, but that's only by how people define it. It was really not how I defined any of those things. I was enjoying myself, I was doing what I wanted to do, I was moving forward, I was doing the things I was passionate about, and the attitude and effort that I had was always just go all in, and believe me, I have failed and I've come up short, probably far more than I've been successful. But I've never been afraid of it. I've never been afraid of coming up short. The only thing that ever disappoints me in myself or anybody else is when they don't put forth that attitude, the effort, and they have a bad attitude toward what they're doing. Even now, I'll think about things like, it bothered me the other day that I didn't know a state capital. This is going to sound stupid, but it illustrates my point. I didn't know a state capital that I should have known. So I just took a few days, and I can answer any state capital in about half a second right now. You cannot stop me on state capitals. I got them all down. Next is European capitals. I don't ever want to stop learning. I never want to stop being passionate about things. I never want to stop taking on new challenges. I've got some unfinished business with an acoustic guitar that I need to learn. The piano's not even close to being finished, but those things, I'm going to take them on. And my challenge to all of you, every single person in this room has one or two things that they've always said they're going to do someday. And everybody does. But every day goes by and we don't start. So the challenge is when you go home today, take a little first step in that direction. In 10 years, you're going to be 10 years in. And if you don't start it, those 10 years are still going by, whether or not you took that step or not. And you're going to be happy. And it's not about becoming an expert. For me, it's not about becoming an expert playing the guitar. It's probably not going to happen. It might. I'll leave the door open. But probably it's not. Probably it's not. But a guy that knows how to play the guitar, that's something that sounds pretty good to me because I don't know how to play it right now. And that's something that would make me happy and pleased with myself. So, my goal for myself is that when I'm your age, I'm still finding things that I'm passionate about and still doing those things and not being afraid to take them on. You have a great sense of humor about the things that you're doing, and I think that's wonderful. And so, kindred spirits, I'm hoping that I can continue my journey and keep doing those things that you're doing at your age. Thank you.